Yep, the four-ball rally. If you'd like to know how we modified the car and got entered this race, it was in another podcast previous to this one, and it's titled Four-Ball Rally also. Anyhow, we took off from San Pablo, headed south. We're going to take the southern route back to Boston on our trip out, and of course, I got a send off by the police, and that was enjoyable. They enjoyed doing that. After all we've been through preparing for the race, and we were going down, and Nolan, then we're going south. Also, Nolan Adams followed us down, and he took some pictures of us for the magazine, Street Views magazine, I guess, and we separated somewhere in around Bakersfield in that area because we're going to head over towards Flagstaff, and from the Flagstaff was the route that we were going to follow. So on the way out, we were going to cut south, go down to 8, and come into San Diego. You know, we made the trip from Flagstaff to Boston with a lot of things going on. First, we got in a race with a 911 SC. Of course, it wiped us out. It at 100 and something miles an hour. That thing was a lot faster. And then we ran a 928 Porsche. So we were really having fun with Porsches this trip out. And I got talking to some on the CB to some trucker. And Frank reminded me I shouldn't be talking about the four-ball rally over the CB. And I just realized, hell yeah, you're right, man. We better keep this down. Hell, that warn the police on it. Anyhow, that'll come back to make us laugh later. We got into Boston that night, and that was the fun part. Of course, I think I told this in the other part, the first part, about us getting the toll plaza. We entered the toll plaza, and it was early morning, and I just nailed it coming out of there. Shouldn't have done that, but yeah, I nailed it. We got a pretty loud exhaust because it's about straight exhaust, no mufflers or anything in it. And we went flying down the road, and here comes a cop car behind us. I saw him pull out the back of the toll plaza. He must have been sitting there. Anyhow, it was a night. We were running pretty fast. I went over a slight rise, went on the other side of it. I hit the brakes hard, went to the slow lane, got behind a truck, just like I was following him, and the cop car went by us. Of course, we had the kill switch. I told you about the brakes. Brake lights, they won't come on if I hit a toggle, and that's what I did. Anyhow, we got into Boston, checked into some cheap hotel down there, motel, and stayed the night. Got up next morning, went around looking for the Marriott where it was going to start, race was going to start. But I want to tell you something. Driving in Boston was the worst experience I ever had. I'd rather be on a racetrack than drive in Boston. Boy, I tell you, those people drive nuts out there. Anyhow, we found the Marriott, and we checked in, and one picture shows us with the 3 police cars, and we arrived. We arrived pretty early in the morning, and it was just a Pantera and these other 2 police cars. But as the day went on, other cars started coming in, and I mean, it was a menagerie of cars. I mean, all type. We had a Hertz, 58 Hertz, black Hertz with a casket in the back, that these 2 boys dressed up like the Blues Brothers and had that as their fuel tank. There was a couple in a Rolls Royce that just got married. There was a Japanese guys there from Nippon News or something like that, and they rented a Camaro, and they were busy modifying it all day, getting ready for the race, putting CBs in and tearing the back seat out. I don't know what all they were doing. If they're going to carry fuel back there or what. And then there was a guy from Canada, had a Roadrunner that was down there with a 426 Hemi. And there was another kid that had an AM Javelin, and they were out of New Jersey. We got to talk to them a little bit. There was a boy from Omaha in a Corvette, Lyle, I think his name was. And there was another boy in a Mustang, and it was an IMSA Mustang that had raced, and they were out of Texas. I don't remember their name, but it was a brand new 82 Mustang with a V8 302. And geez, what a Pantera was there, of course. And that was some Greek out of New York, and there was a. I don't know if it was a kit or real. I think it might have been a real 427 SC Cobra was there out of California. No, yes, in New York, upper New York. I just remembered that. But we had a young kid there, and his dad, and they were out of San Diego, and they came out to rent an Ferrari out of New York and go drive up and enter the race. But the deal fell through, so he went out to the airport out in Boston and rented a Camaro. And the lady said, "Make sure you return it Monday because we're gonna need it." Of course, she didn't know it was going to go to San Diego. And it was only a little six-cylinder automatic, of course, but that's the best he could do. So they entered it with that car, and we went through the day just bullshitting everybody, talking, nervously, and we were giving magazine people rides in cars. We took Playboy magazine out, and Motor Trend was there, and they had a car that was there, driven by one of their editors, and by Mark. I won't give his last name, but he was with Hal Needham's stunt group out of the Hollywood, and he and that guy from Motor Trend, I think it was going to drive a Trans Am. So the day went on with all this going on. There's a big fanfare of everything, yakking, talking, how that goes. We got ready for tonight's big banquet, and that's where we're going to draw the ping pong balls to see who started where in the 50-something cars that had entered. And we got into the banquet, and it was pretty loud and noisy, a lot of drinking and carrying on. And they announced what it was, and of course, $10,000 was the first prize, $5,000 second, and another 10 for the most tickets, the Flash Gordon Award, I guess they called it, or something. Anyhow, we started to draw the balls, and went up one at a time. We drew them, and they read our number off and what we started. And ironically, we got 25. We're dead middle of the pack. And Frank and I went out in the yard after we had the banquet and check on the car finally. We got out there and I went to crank it and it wouldn't. It stalled on me. I said, holy crap. So we got in underneath and found out the fuel pump got shot. Couldn't believe it. I'd used a Stuart Warner that was on another car once and didn't think about it. Should have bought a new one. So we ran down, found an auto parts place open, and bought one of them old Dupree electric pumps. Then and there, I should have gone ahead and put the mechanical pump in, except I didn't have the push rod that ran off the cam. So we went ahead and put the electric Dupree in there, and got it running, ran out all right. And we decided to go to bed, and when we were going to go to bed, we went by this Camaro that these Japanese were in. And I mean, they were yakking in Japanese, and they were carrying on and throwing stuff in and trying to get the back seat to fit back in there somehow. And one was laying across the seat under the dash. And we just said, boy, I hope they make it by tomorrow morning. And I don't know what all they were doing to that car. And there was a few other people out working on tinkering with their automobiles. But yeah, we went to bed. It was hard to sleep because we were getting anticipating that trip in the morning. So next morning we get up kind of early. We run down, get breakfast. We ordered a bunch of boiled eggs. Frank and I decided we carry boiled eggs. We can eat that on the run to keep protein up and carry plenty of water. And we got an ice chest we put in the back and kept some food and stuff in that. Because what we're going to do is drive and sleep. I was going to sleep in the back seat while he was driving, and vice versa. So we were sitting there waiting for the start, and the Boston Breakers from that World Football League was there, cheering us on, and everybody was starting out at the starting line, which was in front of the booth that they had set up there. And they were running out every 15 minutes. And they were clocking the times up there. And when I got up, when we finally get about ready to get up there, about we're third car out, and I told Frank, well, I better take it easy out here, because man, by the time we get out there, the cops going to be all over the place. These people, that many cars in front of us, 24 cars. So I said, yeah, we better do it. That's smart. Just play it cool going out. Anyhow, the helicopters are flying over. We didn't know. I looked up. I wondered what the hell that was. And they were going in circles with a news camera from a damn television station. And I didn't think anything about it at the time. And got on the CB, heard on the C, turned the CB on, cranked the car, getting it ready to go. We were next up. And it was a lot of static going on the 210 too about cops. And I was saying, oh shit, it's going to be bad. Going out here on this Massachusetts Turnpike. So anyhow, we go around, we get up on the line, and he signals to go, and we go. Well, I get around, I made one turn to the right, and there was a little bit of a rise out of there on the backside there, and I nailed it. Went up there, I thought I was going airborne. I would get hit so hard. Anyhow, it didn't go airborne, but the shot, came up a little bit and went over, made another right turn, headed for the exit, and about ran into a Mercedes, T-boned that damn big Mercedes had just come in to check into the hotel. And the old man and the old lady about screamed. They didn't know. I came up about 2 feet from their door, squalling the brakes. Anyhow, Frank says, well, it's a hell of a start. We got out of the parking lot. I said, yeah, you know it. So we got out in the street, turned to the right again in the street, headed for the on-ramp to the Massachusetts Turnpike. And Frank said, you just ran a red light. I said, no shit. And went over the overpass, went around, made our sweeping turn in the highway going south, Massachusetts Turnpike going south. And we heard the CB just going crazy, and the police were yelling, man, what's going on? There's people got here crazy as hell. And we heard the truckers screaming and hollering about all these idiots out here, out here going down the damn road. And we got out there, and I was in the next fast lane. I was nailing it down the road, doing about 65. But a cop car came alongside of us and waved us forward to keep going, so we got behind him. The cop car going down the damn Massachusetts Turnpike. There was other cop cars too, and lights going, and here we are riding this one car escorting us down the damn highway. And there was an overpass, and apparently a whole bunch of people up there had been out in the lot that day before or this morning, and they were standing on this pedestrian overpass, and they started pointing at us and yelling. And of course, no one could hear them, but I was hoping no of the cops didn't catch on. They were pointing at us, following that damn cop car. Anyhow, we got going down the highway. We hit Pennsylvania Turnpike. We were doing pretty good. We were going lickety split like crazy, and passed a couple of cars, people that weren't in the race, and they were telling us where we were in the race. Like they said, man, a car just went by us at 100 something miles an hour. I asked, is that but a BMW? And he said, yeah. I said, yeah, he just left before us. And, we're talking to people like that. And it was no secret, I guess, at this point, because someone had to know that there was something going on. Because this many 50 cars going this fast down the highway, and everybody went different routes. I don't think anybody took the same route, but apparently we took the same route as a majority of them, because we stopped at a station in Akron, Ohio. Well, before I get to that, I lost a fuel pump, believe it or not, in Scranton, in Pennsylvania, on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. It went. The damn fuel pump went. Crap almighty. So I went ahead and Jerry rigged it back up and got it running again, and we went into Scranton, bought a damn mechanical pump, got the push rod from, they could get us a new lever, push rod for the fuel pump. So I went and proceeded to put the damn mechanical pump back on it, and that took an hour or so. I mean, that killed us. I knew that was it, because we couldn't never make up that much time. But it doesn't matter, we're going to still make an effort at it. We nailed it out of there, out of Scranton. We went out over to Akron. By then we needed fuel, so we pulled in this gas station in Akron going south towards Columbus. And the guy at the gas station saw Frank and I. Frank was on the side tank and I was on the back tank. We were filling at the same time rather than just try to wait till the one drained in the other. So we had both hoses out of 2 pumps filling this thing, and the guy walked out another one of these cars. And he said, "You want me to call your wife for you too?" And I said, "Why?" And he said, "There's 2 guys here in a 58 Hertz, that Cadillac Hertz, that had us call their wives while they were filling up their damn casket with the fuel." I said, "You're kidding." "Oh, no, we don't need anybody to call. We'll be all right." Anyhow, we took out of there and we were going south. And man, I'm telling you, the Panther and Cobra are behind us. And when they passed us going down, I can't remember what highway it is between Akron and Columbus, but I could see them coming, and I mean, we were doing over 100, and hardly any traffic, ironically, when they came up on me, but I could see these 2 cars coming, this red Pantera and this black Cobra, and they were flying down the damn road, and they came up on me, and they went by like I was sitting still. The Pantera went by, Jesus, just woof. And when this Cobra went by, the guy in the passenger seat, he had long hair. It was straight. It was aiming straight back, and you could almost see the tears coming out of his eyes. And the damn windshield looked like it was flexing. That's how fucking fast they were going. And they just disappeared over the horizon and left us sitting still. So I figured there we go down 2 more notches, you know. Anyhow, we kept going, and we changed drivers somewhere, I think around Columbus, and going over to Indianapolis, and that was getting that evening. So Frank took over the wheel at that point, and he was driving. And I kept hearing him talking up front, and he said something about the Pantera and Cobra on a trailer or something, and I didn't catch it. But I come to find out the Cobra and Pantera both were nailed by the cops in Ohio, and both cars were up on a flatbed wrecker, hauling them away. So I figured, well, God, we got a chance. And next morning, I took over somewhere in Illinois just before we get across to St. Louis. And went through St. Louis down there and went through 40, and we went on through Guyman. And no, I didn't hit Guyman. I went through, can't think of, we were going to head through North Amarillo. That's where it was, in Oklahoma City. So I took over right after Oklahoma City, because Frank had been driving in. But also the Corvette, we had a C3 Corvette that was in the race, was pulled over by the cops, and they were over there talking. And they had a TV camera crew even over there. And we didn't know what that was. I said, "Damn, they're televising this damn thing." And I said, and Frank says, "Yeah, I guess so. I thought this was supposed to be pretty quiet, but shit, we got TV crews watching us." So anyhow, we get through Oklahoma City, and I was driving then. I took over at the end and went through Amarillo. We got in a race with a civilian out there, and a Mustang. I don't know what it was, a 74. No, it wasn't that. It was 72 or something, a big block Mustang. And of course, we ate him up. He was no match at 120, 140. So he went off, and cops went by us too. That's ironic. Because the cops came, and they didn't come after us. They went after the Mustang. And that was ironic, because I pulled off the road because I thought they were after me. I pulled off the side of the road on highway there, off an off ramp, and went down there, and there was an on ramp straight over across from us. So I went back up on there, and they didn't come down after us. They got the Mustang though. Anyhow, going on down the damn road, I got in Albuquerque, and it was late that afternoon. And I was going to change drivers again. Frank's going to drive that night. Or that was Saturday night. And when I got there, I noticed the oil pressure was dropping, and I got panicked. And I had used Redline synthetic oil in the damn thing. I thought that'd be the best oil to use, you know. So Frank and I went into I think it was Albuquerque or some. Can't remember what town it was. No, it wasn't Albuquerque. Anyhow, yeah, it was. I think it was Albuquerque. Went in there and we changed oil. That took another hour because I didn't want to mix oils. I didn't know if that would be a good thing to mix damn regular oil with synthetic. You know, it's back when synthetic was pretty new. So we had to make a damn oil change. So here we lose another hour. Anyhow, all my fault. And we headed south. We headed for Flagstaff. And going to Flagstaff, we heard a lot of stuff on the CBs and all that about cops over there in Arizona too, talking about speeders going through. And we didn't think much about it. But I'll tell you more stories about what went on during this race because we didn't know at this time what happened until the end of the race, and all the stories came out of what happened during the race. Anyhow, we were making it down to 8 from Flagstaff, and Frank was driving it. He was yelling and hollering up in front about something, and I don't remember what all that was about because I'm trying to sleep. And we got into Yuma, I think it was Yuma, and we changed drivers. So I was going to drive it in that Sunday morning into the finish line at Hilton in San Diego. So I was nailing it down the damn road, and we got into fog. Oh yeah, on the way out of we had stopped the vegetable check or whatever it was there in California, and I noticed the Trans Am was right over there on the side, and it looked like they were talking or something, and I looked over and it looked like they were fighting each other. And I what the hell? They're pushing each other around and all that. And one guy grabbed his hat and threw it down, and I could, that's a boy Mark and the Motor Trend guy over there. And I said, yeah, it sure is. That's what Frank looked too and saw him. And so Frank was too excited now to sleep, so he was in the passenger seat. Anyhow, we nailed it and got on out there. We didn't pass a lot of people on the side of the road going out there. I thought, man, we may have a chance to make it here. Anyhow, we were flying over the hills there in San Diego, heading National City. It was foggy as hell. I don't know what the hell this fog came up. And I just turned right out of the lane. I come up over the hill, and I almost ran into the back of a damn pickup truck with a camper shell on it. And man, I tell you, that was close. If I hadn't decided to go in the fast lane, I'd have plowed into that mother. Driving that fast. We came up to it looked like a rest area, and all of a sudden we see lights go on. And it must have been some cops over there. And we saw cups flying out. I don't know, Frank said he saw coffee cups flying out of both sides of the car, and it was coming after us. And of course it didn't catch us. We were going just too damn fast at that time, trying to make up for some time anyhow. Got down to San Diego, and we were running around trying to find the exit to get down to the San Diego Hilton. And we finally found one. I went down a wrong way on a one-way street trying to make it over there. I just saw where it was. I didn't care what the sign said on any of the streets. We made it in. And we didn't make good time. We made an average of only 55 miles an hour the way they figured with all the time and everything. But we came in 25th. Well, that was all right. What the hell? Finished where we started. I meant to tell you that the Vegas money was on us, and I didn't know that till the end either. Apparently they were betting in Vegas on the race, and we had the lowest odds, and there was a Porsche, and there's a lot of fast cars there that could easily beat us. I don't know why they picked us. I guess we looked the meanest or something. But anyhow, we got there, and everybody was telling stories about what was going on, and some people were still straggling in. That AMX, that Javelin or whatever it was, came in with a hose coming out of the passenger side, going under the hood. They had blown an oil ring or something, and they were blowing oil. It looked like a smoke machine coming down the road, and they were just pouring oil into the engine as they were going, so they could keep going. The Japanese came in. And I mean, that thing had brake dust from one end to the other. I don't know. And they got stopped in Iowa because they went straight across 80. And the cops up there were going to put him in jail, but all they had was an international driver's license. They got stopped in Newton. I remember and the cops let them go. I guess they talked themselves out of it or something. Anyhow, they made it in with that beat up. They beat that Camaro up, and that ain't nothing. That damn guy and his kid that got that damn other Camaro, that thing sounded like a rattle trap coming here. That V6 was shot. They burnt that thing up because it was rattling so bad. You think there's swapping pistons and cylinders or in that thing. Yeah, look at the Healy showed up. There was Austin Healy, and a couple other cars showed up that looked pretty bad off too. Later after us, too, a Saab came in and a Volvo, and I can't remember all the other cars that came in. We never saw. I don't remember seeing the Rolls Royce, but I think it was there. It made it, and the boys in the. I didn't see the boys in the '58 Cadillac. Now I think about it either. I don't think they made it. They didn't finish the race. Anyhow, the guy in what was it, the Rolls and his wife, they broke down in St. Louis, or had a flat in St. Louis, and they called the Rolls Royce dealer, and it was around 2 in the morning, they said, and they were out of there within an hour and a half. He said the dealer sent his people out there, and they changed it on his car, the tire, because I guess that's what came with the Rolls Royce. So anyhow, they didn't finish too well either. They started about where they finished out. And the winner of the damn thing was that Porsche at 911 SC. It was a guy named Perry and another guy from Germany. They won the race, and they did it in 26 hours. Man, that was humping. And they were telling stories about them too, being chased and getting tickets and all that. In fact, I don't know if they got the most tickets. I think they did. Yeah, I think they were the ones, because they came through Tennessee. They went way south and went straight across. And the Tennessee Highway Patrol chased them all the way across. And then they and then turned over to the Arkansas police, and they chased them too. And they got stopped, put in jail, but they bailed themselves out and continued the race. And yet they did that damn good. Made me feel bad. Anyhow, the Corvette did about the same thing. That we found out that Corvette, they got put in jail too, and up there in I think it was outside of Oklahoma on that Will Rogers Turnpike. I think that's where they were. So it comes to find out, damn Nightline News covered the whole damn thing from start to finish, and they put it on that afternoon on the damn TV. I mean, on news. It was featured on news, 4-ball rally. It showed the cars, us passing on the shoulder and the stop of the Corvette. They had that on route and all that. But I lost the video. I gave it because it had my Corvette story on it also. And I gave it to one of the guys that bought my 43 car, and he kept it. I don't know what happened to the video of that news broadcast. The wife had saved it. Anyhow, we went on around talking to more people for the final banquet where they're going to give out the awards banquet, And we were caring to hear all those stories and how funny they were. We got to laughing like crazy because some of them were so damn funny. There was a couple in Trans Am up there in Flagstaff. That's what all that noise was about. Frank was talking about. The cops were chasing them, and they made the wrong turn because they were planning on going down south too on that highway to 8. And the cops were chasing them, and they made a U out in the middle of the highway and came back the other way, and the cops were across the median, and the cops were chasing them, saw them going back the other way, and so they turned around, and one of them wrecked, I guess, or something happened up there. And they went up and they turned around and they came back towards them and trying to catch them, and they went south and they got away. Then the Trans Am, this couple did. It was a married couple too in this Trans Am. And one of the police cars got lost up there in Flagstaff, believe it or not, in the same area about the same time. And it had the cops were chasing them, and they made a wrong turn and got into a camping area. And they went through this camp where all these campers were, and they went off on this back road. It's like it's a gravel road or something. They were trying to get away from the cops. And they ran out, they ran into this hippie community. So hippies running everywhere. And here they are in a police car, so they thought it was a bus. And all they were doing was trying to ask them how to get out of here. And they couldn't find one of them damn hippies to stop them to ask, because they were running all over the place. Anyhow, they finally found their way out of there, and they made it back. And they came in after us, I guess, in that black Ford police car, because they had a hell of a time, too. And the white one came in later, too. It's behind us in one of these photos. But the police were real bad. They had another guy in a Corvette, I guess, chasing the same way the Porsche went through Tennessee and Arkansas, and apparently they got stopped also. I don't know if it's a Little Rock or somewhere down there, and they got put in jail. And one of them Tennessee cops, they had to hold him back because he wanted to go in there and beat the shit out of him, because they'd blown a couple of cop cars chasing them across Tennessee, and the Arkansas guys held them off. Anyhow, I think they won the flash card in the road. I'm not sure, because they had the most tickets. Boy, I'll tell you, they made it in too. They bailed themselves out. We found out the Panther and the Cobra were still had a hell of a fine, and cars were impounded. Pretty strict about going 100 miles an hour in Ohio, apparently. So them boys nailed it. They were out of it. And the boys, I think, I can't remember who it was, had had a Ferrari in there too. No, that was Pantera. It was a Ferrari, I think, in there too, that totally roasted, just burned up. I mean, it could literally caught on fire, I think, and burned up. So we went to the banquet that night. We got all our awards, and we didn't get anything, but it was fun talking to everybody and seeing what's going on. And actually, the stories that everybody was telling was what was more fun than anything. And Mark and the guy at Motor Trend finally came in. Mark did anyhow. He had gone over and rented a car and drove out to the Hilton, and so we got to talk to Mark what happened. He says he got pissed because that Motor Trend guy wasn't driving fast enough. And every time it's his turn to drive, he was going too damn slow. So he started bitching at him, and the guy in the Motor Trend got pissed at him and took his hat and threw it up. Took his hat and was going to throw it outside, and because he was so mad at him, and they stopped, and that's when we saw them, and they were out yelling and hollering at each other. And he said that the truck driver, they had to get a tow because the car went out, gave out on them, and the guy with Motor Trend was blaming him for driving it too hard. He said that's why they couldn't finish the race, and they was blaming him for it. Mark was being blamed for it. Anyhow, he was telling me they got into the damn wrecker, and the two of them had to sit up front with the driver while they towed the Trans Am in to a shop. And they got to arguing in there again, and Mark reached over and grabbed his hat off of the Motor Trend guy and threw it out the window on the driver's side. And the driver stopped the goddamn wrecker and just put on brakes. He said, listen, you two don't quit fucking fighting, I'm going to put you in the back there. So they made it in. It was kind of funny. So we had the banquet. It was a lot of fun. And we were going back to San Pablo. We left San Diego that next morning. And on the way up, we stopped. We were eating, and we were going to go up 5. We got through L.A. and all, and going to go up 5 towards the Bay Area. And I was driving along at a pretty fast clip, and I said, I bet, Frank, if I drive 100 miles an hour up this 5, we'll be passed by how many cars, count how many cars passes. And this is, remember, 55 mile an hour speed limit. That highway used to be unlimited at one time. Anyhow, we were going, 90 to 100, varying between that. And I'm sitting there, and here comes a station wagon, an American Rambler station wagon going by me. I couldn't believe it. Family, his wife and him and his kids in the back went past me. And that was it. Frank and I just about cracked up. We said, Jesus Christ, And we can't win a race, can we? I said, no, we sure can't. We ought to give up on this. Yeah. Yeah, anyhow, we had a last laugh. And we went back and we got met by the cops, and they told a story to them, and they enjoyed hearing the story. I told it a little better back in those days because I had good fresh memory and how it went. But at 83 now, it's just so far back, 50 years, I guess, maybe 40 years now. It's just hard to remember it all. But it was an enjoyable thing, and we got to do it. Something you have to do someday. But I guess they outlawed it all because we heard that the cops were in Ohio would stop you before you got. If they knew you were in the race, you'd stop you for anything. Just to stop the race, so or try to take you out of it. So that pretty much ended that type of racing. I think I've never heard of much of it going on anymore because they probably keep it quieter than they did then. It was just unbelievable the publicity we got, and I was going out there worried about talking about it. Ends up it was all over the damn place. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. It was something worth doing, though. You guys take care. Bye now.